Hello, Sheldon Gould here with S&N Custom Lawn Care in Gladstone, Manitoba. Uh, haven't done a video for a couple of days. There hasn't been too much going on. We are going to be getting busy here starting Monday. Phone's been ringing off the hook. We got a bunch of yard cleanups and stuff to do. And we got a couple of yards to mow, clean up leaves, stuff like that. I got a few aerating jobs, dethatching jobs, also hauling garbage out, also hauling scrap steel. I got a few locations we got to go to, haul some scrap out. The father-in-law and brother-in-law actually own a scrap company south of Portage, Manitoba, K&R Scrap Metal. So we pick up a lot of scrap and haul to them. I want to do a video tonight because people are asking me a little bit about the history behind S&N Custom Lawn Care, and also a little bit of history behind my other company, my mobile DJ live sound and recording company, Sladen Music Productions. And they're also asking a little bit about my life. So I'm going to try and give a short version of my life up to about now. Won't be able to get everything in here because I could talk for hours and hours about everything that's gone on in my life. But I grew up south of Reston on a farm, Reston, Manitoba. I grew up there with my mom and my dad. We kind of lived on a quarter with my mom and my dad, and on the same quarter was my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side. So my grandma and grandpa on the Gould side. Ross was my grandpa's name. Louise was my grandma's name. And we farmed there. My dad farmed with his dad, which would be my grandpa, Ross, and my dad's two brothers, Gary and Dennis. And they farmed there. And then my dad passed away. He actually passed away of cancer Christmas Day of 1999. He had two different types of cancers. He had lymphoma, and he had a rare skin cancer called mycosis fungoides, which is starts on the outside of the skin and works its way in, and it eventually caused him to die due to the cancers. So he died 99 Christmas Day. So my mom and my family, which includes my brother Nelson and my sister Justine, who are both younger than I am, we packed up and we moved to Virden, Manitoba, where I went to elementary school in Reston, at Reston Elementary School up to grade 6. And then when we moved to Virden, I went to the Virden Junior High, and I was there for, grade 7 and 8 at the junior high. The junior high is actually 5 to 6, but by the time we moved, I just did the 2 years there, so 7 and 8. And then I took my high schooling at Virden Collegiate, so I took 9 to 12 there, which I specialized in electronics, woodworking, and power mechanics. I graduated with the high school diploma as well as a power mech diploma. I also got 2 awards for power mech for highest marks and stuff in that. And then when I was 18, I got a job at Southwest Pontiac in Maletta, Manitoba as a GM ASEP tech for a GM company. I was enrolled in Winnipeg Red River College under the GM ASEP program. So I didn't finish my training there. Things kind of got out of hand, and they didn't have enough people there, like Red Seals there, to continue on teaching me. So I was there for just over a year. And then, before that, when I was in school, before I graduated, actually I think I started in grade 7 or 8, I was actually the junior curator for the Virden Pioneer Home Museum. I worked there for, 6 summers actually, And I kind of started out as a green team member. I looked after the lawn and stuff, and outside stuff, and then I eventually worked into actually being a tour guide. And then my final year, I was actually junior curator. So I did that, and then I was also enrolled in Army Cadets with the, can't even remember the number of the cadets, 2528 Royal Canadian Army Cadets, I believe, in Verdun, Manitoba. So I was there for 4.5 years. I could have kept going, but what happened when I was in grade 9, I had an interest in doing live sound and DJing. So I actually managed to win a radio through Radio Shack at that time, before it was a Source. And I started playing music in my basement, or my mom's basement, just for my brother and my sister, for their friends and stuff. One thing led to another, and I started buying more and more equipment, and I started DJing socials. And then when I was in high school in grade 9, one of the teachers came to me and asked me if I would be willing to do sound and lighting at our local theater, which is the Verdun Auditorium Theater, for a high school play. So I said sure. My first time doing anything like that. Normally I just did social, so played music, so the live sound scene was new to me, but I was very interested. So I took that on, I did that, and then I actually eventually took over being one of the head sound and light techs for the Verdun Auditorium Theater. I've done hundreds of plays and musicals and concerts, live bands, stuff like that. I've worked for Doc Walker, Emerson Drive, Buck Cherry, Michelle Wright, the Nylons, the McDades. I've done several plays and musicals. There's 2 acting clubs that I actually got involved in as their sound and light tech out of Verdun. Tumbleweed Productions and the Phoenix Players. I did a lot of their, well, most of their sound and lighting for, probably a good 5 to 8 years. And then I got involved in doing sound for motorsports and rodeos. I was the main sound guy, sound tech, with my equipment for the Canadian High School Finals Rodeo for 4 years that we hosted in Verdun, Manitoba. And then I also got on the rodeo circuit and North American Bull Riding Association. So I did sound for that stuff. And then a lot of the rodeos kind of petered out. I used to do the Triple H rodeo in Hamiota, Manitoba. They no longer have a rodeo. The Canadian Finals rodeo kind of shifts around Canada. So we had our 4 years. So after that, I didn't have it after the 4 years because it went to another province. So it was definitely an interesting experience. I got into motorsports. I was a big sponsor and sound tech for music and DJ for MDR, which is Manitoba Dirt Riders Motocross. What else? I do demolition derbies. I do the Verdun Demolition Derby, and I do the Deloraine Manitoba Demolition Derby. I've done bull riding at the Keystone Center in Brandon, Manitoba. I've done drag races at Rivers Drag Race at the Rivers Airport. I do music and sound at Neepawa Drag Races in Neepawa, Manitoba. That wasn't under my company, Sonic Sladen Music Productions. I was actually subcontracted under Look Music for Doug Cool out of Brandon, Manitoba. He's an awesome guy. So that's kind of what I did until I've been doing that up till about a year ago, and then things kind of died down. I got working into the oil a few years ago. Well, it'll be about 8 years ago since I worked on the oil. I've worked on the oil out of Verdun, Manitoba. I've worked for a few different companies there, and then I got with a girl, and we had a kid, my firstborn, Tristan, who's now 8. After that, I kind of got out of the oil because I wanted to be more of a family man and be home. I've also been an ex-firefighter. I was a member of the Wallace District Fire Department, Station 1 in Virden, Manitoba. And I was also a member with the Pipestone RM out of Reston Fire Department. I've also been a volunteer with SARMAN, which is Search and Rescue Manitoba. Before my son was born, my first son, Tristan, I decided to go into the lawn business, me and my brother. Well, my brother worked for me for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, and he didn't like it. So that's how we got the name, S&N. The S stands for my name, which is Sheldon, and the N stands for my brother's name, which is Nelson. I never changed the name, I just kept it, even though he's not working for the company anymore. So, like I said, I was working on the oil when my son was born there, my first one, Tristan. And I worked on the oil for a few years. And then I moved to Brandon, Manitoba, with another girl, because I'm no longer with the mother of my first child. So I moved to Brandon with another girl. And when I moved there, I was working for Heartland Livestock out of Brandon, Manitoba, herding cattle at the auction mart. And then I quit there, and I went and worked for Quintain and Sons, which is a stock farm just outside of Brandon, Manitoba. And I worked there for a while. And then I went and worked for KDL Furniture as a delivery driver and setup person at Setup Furniture. And then I got hired on with Unplugged Sewer Services in Brandon, Manitoba. And I worked with them for a while, unplugging sewers and stuff like that, and jetting culverts and pig barns and stuff like that, and hydrovacing. And then from there, I went and worked for the city of Brandon on streets and roads, doing paving and loader operator and dump truck operator. And then, yeah, I know I've had a lot of jobs. And then there was a while where I kind of quit the lawn care stuff. I started out and then I quit and went and did this other stuff when I moved to Brandon. I worked for Brandon Chrysler Dodge in detailing, washing cars. And then from there I went to Kelleher Ford in Brandon, Manitoba as a Ford mechanic. And I worked there. And then I ended up splitting up with the girl that I was with. And I ended up moving back to Virden, Manitoba. And I got really big back into the landscaping, back into S&N Custom Lawn Care. And I've been pretty much working steady ever since. That's 6 years ago that I've been going steady. I have owned S&N Custom Lawn Care for 13 years. But it has been on and off up to about the last, well, I'll be going on 8 years actually. And then, so I did that. And then I met another girl who I finally married. We got married, well, it'll be 2 years ago coming up this August. So I got married to her. And we lived in Virden for a couple of years until we got married. And then just after that, we decided to move to Gladstone, Manitoba. Actually, before that, we actually had another son. I have another son named Wyatt, who's going on 2.5 now. And we moved up to Gladstone, Manitoba. And well, before we moved, we do tree trimming, tree removal, snow removal, skid steer services, lawn care, commercial mowing, stuff like that. I had lots of clients in Virden. And then we decided, well, we'll move to Gladstone, kind of in the middle between my parents, or my mom, because my dad passed away. My mom was in Virden at that time, and her parents live south of Portage. So we moved here, and we started up the business here again. I got the shop set up here. We're starting to get phone calls. It was kind of slow over last summer and the winter just because people didn't really know who I was yet. My name's just starting to get out there. We didn't do a whole lot for snow removal. We had a few contracts. Now that we're getting the word out, the phone's ringing off the hook, so things are really starting to pick up. So now that we're here, trying to make a go at it. It is a smaller town, smaller than Virden, but I cover a bigger area. for example, I got bookings in Portage, Manitoba, Austin, Manitoba, McGregor, Manitoba, Neepawa, Manitoba, Gladstone, Manitoba, Plumas, Manitoba, Amarath, Manitoba, I think, well, possibly Minnedosa, Manitoba. I think that's about as far as I've gotten so far with calls. But we're all over the place, so things are really starting to pick up. Picking up some bigger contracts with bigger sites and stuff. Construction going on, and they need landscaping done, so we've been contacted about doing that. So we're just waiting to hear back if we got the job on a couple of those. I put some quotes in on some tenders and stuff. So things are starting to look up. But yeah, that's kind of a brief history on myself. My mom, she has now moved to Brandon, Manitoba, being widowed. We lived in a big house in Verdon, and after we all moved out, it kind of too big of a house and yard for her to look after by herself. She's getting up in age. My sister, she is a band teacher, music teacher, and my brother works for Egg West in Brandon, Manitoba as a Red Seal mechanic. And he has, well, he's getting married this summer and has a kid named Bennett, and possibly, well, not possibly, for sure he's got another kid on the way here again. I think they're due in October. But so yeah, the family's growing. My sister's married. She got married before I did. She'll be married 5 years this summer. I'll be married 2 years this summer, and my brother's getting married this summer. So my sister, like I said, she's a band teacher. Her husband is some sort of a professor, or I'm not even 100% sure what he does, but she lives here in Manitoba, but he's down in North Dakota taking schooling and researching stuff. He's some sort of a high-tech doctor, professor, I don't know. Nobody really knows what he does, but he's extremely smart, so I give him credit on that. His name is Morgan. My grandma Elliot, on my mom's side, she's still alive. My grandpa Elliot, he passed away, I can't even remember how long ago, but I have mentioned him in a few videos because my walk behind snowblower, the Roper 526, was actually my grandpa's brother, and then my grandpa had it, and after he passed away, my grandma gifted it to me. And also my Lawn Chief 440 riding lawnmower was my grandpa Elliot's, and my grandma gifted it to me after he passed away. My grandma's name is Olive Elliott. My grandpa's name was William Albert Elliott. Everybody called him Bert. Lots of music in my family. I play drums. I've taken 12 years of drum lessons. I try to play piano. I'm not very good at it. I do try and play guitar too. Wife's got an acoustic. I had an acoustic and I sold it. I had a couple of electric guitars and I sold it as well. My mom plays piano, accordion, auto harp. My dad played piano, fiddle. My grandpa, both grandpas played fiddle. My both grandmas kind of played piano. My brother played euphonium. My sister plays just about anything, being a band teacher. She plays basically more piano and teaches piano. Sax, clarinet. I think that's what she basically majored in university. But she can play just about anything. Being a music teacher, she knows how to read music and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's a brief history on myself, Sheldon Gould. A brief history with S&N Custom Lawn Care. And a brief history on my other company, Sonic Sladen Music Productions. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe to our channels, my channel on Facebook, or my channel on YouTube, I mean, S&N Custom Lawn Care. I also have a group page for S&N Custom Lawn Care and a group page for Sonic Sladen Music Productions. I also have a page for both of the companies as well on Facebook. So make sure you subscribe to those, hit the like button, and make sure you share. And I'm hoping to have another video up within the next couple of days. I got to show everybody what I did the other day, and I couldn't show up my last video because it was too dark and I haven't had a chance to do it yet. So, but yeah, it's Sheldon Gould with S&N Custom Lawn Care. Thanks for watching.